You know, some people enjoy composing their own music, chord by chord, and others are happiest when they come across that one perfect song. Work is not a lot different than that. Whether you prefer building your own workflow or using a pre-made template, with Monday.com, you and the team can work in a way that's comfortable for everyone. Tap the banner to go to Monday.com and build your own amazing workflow, or find an awesome template. No judgment.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Season 12, Episode 3, titled World's Worst. Literally. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one immunocompromised co-host. Temporarily, from the podcast pod, is my co-pilot. Please say...
Everybody, speak slowly and clearly. What the hell is going on?
To Taylor... The Latte Boy. Like, seriously, like, yeah. Hello, Taylor Latte Boy.
On various levels,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on?
Yeah, hi. Yeah. Everyone should know. And if a podcast doesn't start with me saying everyone should know, it's not a podcast by Afterthought
That's never
Media.
good.
Yeah.
That's never good.
Is this AfterBuzz TV's Jay Ellis? Maybe, you know what would be funny? If he got super drunk last night and he's right now driving to AfterBuzz TV for confusing which show he's supposed to be on. AfterBuzz TV's Jay Ellis was supposed to sit in for said Taylor the Latte Boy, and I don't know where he is. We've been trying to contact him, and I don't know where he is. Anyway,
I'm here.
Yeah, but she's here right now.
We're giving the people what they want. They would have been incredibly disappointed if I wasn't here.
That's true.
But now here I sit, and
but
I'll clean and
just stupped,
virginal,
freshly stupped.
Freshly stupped.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, if you are not a member of this Patreon, patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia, right now, Taylor and I are going to go, we're going to talk just between us girls, but our Patreon supporters at the premium level get to hear that. And if you want to hear that, go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia and join at the premium level where you can hear the conversation. But if you are not, then right now you are going to hear a little bit of a beep, and we will be back right after that, going right into the show. Okay, well, Taylor, this week the two groups become one complete cast in the first elimination episode of Season 12. For the mini-challenge, Widow and Jada rank the queens they just met. In the maxi-challenge, the queens work in teams on a sketch comedy challenge. On the main stage, category is Buttons and Bows with guest judge Olivia Munn. After a rough improv performance, Dahlia Sin and Nikki Doll are placed in the bottom two and face off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. In the end, Nikki Doll was told, "Shantae, you stay," while Dahlia was asked to sashay away. Taylor the Latte Boy, name two things you liked about the episode and one thing you did not.
I'd rather name two things I didn't like about the episode and one thing I did.
Sure, go ahead.
This was a horrible episode.
Okay.
This was not a good episode.
Yeah.
This was very disappointing, a huge drop-off from the first two. I would say that I did not like... I liked one runway look. That was it. I only liked one of them. And... so that's the one. I liked Gigi's look, the orange buttons. Things I did not like were, I didn't like the challenge at all, the improv challenge. I think it's too early. These girls don't know each other enough to be doing an improv challenge. And I'm really starting to not like Britta, and that really makes me sad, because I really wanted her to be stronger, but just the way she comes off, there's something cloying about her. Cloying might be the wrong word, but there's something about her that just kind of I don't like.
Oh, the New York Queens, and everybody knows the New York Queens are the best motherfucking queens in the motherfucking universe. So don't even come for us unless they're going against me.
Thank you. And I'm all like, okay, well, first of all, you've been accused of sexual assault, and so has another New York queen. So
don't tell me about the New York Queens. We sexually assault people like nobody's business. Harvey Weinstein.
I was going to say that Harvey Firestein.
No, Harvey Weinstein's a sexual assault person.
Right, but he's not a drag queen.
Oh, is he though? Is he, Taylor?
He will be when he's serving 23 years.
He dragged those bitches to the bed, but he sexually assaulted them.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Too far. What about you?
Did you name the one thing you liked?
Gigi's outfit on the runway.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. 2 things I liked. Look, I'm going to tell you something. Everything I'm going to say, by the way, is very vapid across the board because this episode is not very good. One thing I liked is, and this is not very mean, but this Gigi Good does not typically do it for me. But in that workroom scene, when she's in the glasses and the weird distressed denim or acid wash denim,
yeah,
I was like, I need to have sex with this person. I don't know what, 'cause I'm not usually a glasses person, but oh my fucking God, her, because you know what it is I think her eyes are too big like a grasshopper. And the glasses,
yeah,
the glasses shrunk the eyes.
Okay. It's funny you mentioned that because I've seen a picture of her wearing glasses. I think it was on Twitter not that long ago. And I almost copied it and sent it to you because I'm like, she definitely in that picture, because I don't necessarily think she's very attractive either, whereas I thought she would be. But she's giving, and I know that you like this, she's giving off some Blake Mitchell vibes in this one picture that I was like, oh, Joe would be all about that. It's funny because in that scene, I was focused on something else while you were focused on the glasses. Was something that I enjoy looking at are hairy legs. And I was looking at Jackie Cox's hairy legs in his little shorts and was like, well, hello.
There was a lot for everybody because, Rock'em Sakura was showing a lot of his Sakura in his little shorts. And I know people were really distracted by that.
Rock'em from the waist. Rock'em is a very cute boy, but Rock'em from the waist down, that's the type of legs I like. The big, thick thighs and juicy bubble butt. So that's very, I'm very much all about that.
Oh, wait, I forget this is not just a private camera. I was going to basically pull my pants down right now and show you my big, fat, fucking thunder thighs. But I forget that there are other people watching. I was literally like, did you see? I was like, literally like, I was like, and then I was like, I look and I saw there's a chat room there and I was like.
Plus it's saved for posterity, so anybody can go back and look at this at any point. Yeah.
So anyway, you know, but you know what it is with Rock M is like I look at her and I'm like, oh yes, but then there's something about her personality that just fucking grates on my nerves, and I just like the part where she was just like when she was picked last, and she was like, "Who? Me? Are we gonna do it with this girl?" And I'm like, "Oh, so she does a lot of cringy things." This is how I come out of the shower every day, by the way. I'm like, oh.
But with a towel.
Yeah, with a towel. And I'm like, and then like a dog pulling on the towel. And I'm like, I don't even have a dog. And I'm like, oh. And like a little bit of my butt shows. And it's sunburned.
While you've got another towel wrapped around your head.
Another towel wrapped around my head. And I'm just like, oh. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, okay. The other thing I did like was, okay, this is a longer talking point. Maybe we'll do it in the body of the show, like when we get to the table visits. But I actually really appreciate the character of Crystal in a way that I don't think you would pick up on right away. The normal person wouldn't pick up on right away. But the way Crystal is being portrayed so far, you can see a very clear hero edit coming. First of all, you can tell. Okay. I mean, it's very clear even to the other queens that RuPaul just adores her, right? And believe it or not, what I saw in this episode, I relate to Crystal in so many ways. First of all, she's a Mexican American, just like me.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is a Mexican American thing or it's a combination or what, but I do know, and I think people might find this hard to believe because they already know me as, you know, Joe Betance, broadcasting legend. But it's one of these things where I understand where Crystal's coming from. It's kind of how I am in a new situation where I need to acclimate to a room first before I truly am who I am. And I think because I'm very kind of more I wouldn't say timid, but quiet in a new situation. And I think people, because I also have resting bitch face, like I'm really sure because people are on camera. This is me. I want you to know intentionally blank expression. Blank. I'm not feeling any emotion. This is a blank expression. And everyone who just heard signs means a blank expression. And I look pissed off. And I think because of that, a lot of times I'm looked over or people underestimate me. And I've learned to use that as not a weapon, but as a tool. So that I know because there are lower expectations that I have the breathing room to then acclimate more because people sort of overlook me. And I sort of feel that's happening to Crystal with the girls. And so the girls aren't getting the love. I think RuPaul can see through it.
Okay.
But I think Crystal's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I identify a lot with what she's going through. With like, you can tell she's playing it cool right now, but I think we're going to see a phoenix rising soon. But I don't know. So that's one of the things I liked. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I feel I appreciate what you're saying, and I would like to see Crystal go further. I feel like her arc isn't going to be as long as you'd like it to be. Okay. I feel like they're already setting her up to be the next one to go or the one after that.
Interesting.
I feel like she's going to get a Trinity K. Bonet. I'm struggling. You got it. See, we told you you've got it. Now Shantae, sashay away.
Oh, like you're saying the second she has her, she goes like, I was born as a lizard. And then like, oh, we as gay people, we get to choose our lizards, and then next week, Crystal, if I could look into your balls, I see a bright future. Now sashay away. Like one of those kind of things. Interesting.
You've learned the method to being a true queen.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you. And then everybody claps for RuPaul for pretending to cry.
Crystal method. Keep going, girl, because like crystal meth, I want to fuck you for 4 days in a row. Now sashay. And never come. Now sashay away. So, okay, the one thing I didn't like, probably, and I'm including Drag Race UK in this, probably one of the worst lip syncs I've ever seen in the history of the show.
Yes.
Awful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Awful.
Yeah. You knew Dahlia at one point you knew she was the one going home just because she clearly didn't know the words. Mm-hmm. But it was very lackluster from both of them. That dress saved Nikki. That's the only reason that they both didn't sashay away.
I think, well, someone on Reddit said this, and I don't disagree with this actually, is that RuPaul, knowing that there was a ball challenge next, was like, oh, I would love to see what that's not Heidi, I'm sorry, Nikki's going to serve in those looks in the next ball. So I'll keep her around for that. Because, girl.
Yeah.
Awful. And how is Dahlia not knowing the words she said in Untucked? Like, oh, I do Ariana every night. I know it backwards and forwards. I'm like.
That almost felt like a bitchy, like, just because she was so sour when she walked off the stage, that was just kind of almost the producer's way of saying, fuck you. Mm-hmm. Similar to the night with Valentina, also an Ariana Grande song, but where they showed, who did she go up against? Nina.
Yeah,
Nina
Brown
was clearly lip syncing and doing, and Valentina was just listening and not even, like they showed, I remember them showing that in Untucked and then showing the whole thing where she didn't know the words. So.
Crazy. Okay, you know what I'm going to do right now? Is why don't we take a break right here, actually, before we jump into the show?
Okay.
And so we'll be back right after this.
This is Amy Poehler. My new movie, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, is coming to theaters June 14th, and it's making me feel joy and sadness and anger, definitely some disgust, Rose, and I think a little fear. But I'm also feeling these new emotions like anxiety, embarrassment, envy, and ennui.
It's what you call the boredom.
Okay, that one was weird. It's going to be the feel everything movie of the summer. Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters June 14th. Get tickets now.
And we're back after Jada's win. The second group of queens re-enters the workroom and dramatically stares down their new competitors before the queens embrace each other. This leads to questions about their experiences and some friendly trash talking before going home for the day. The next day, RuPaul joins the girls in the workroom to announce this week's mini challenge.
Now, ladies, for today's mini challenge, it's time for a queer peer assessment. Widow Von Du and Jada Essence Hall, please step forward. You each won your premiere episodes. Now, based on your first impressions, I want you to line up the queens you've just met from top to bottom. From who you think is your strongest competitor to your weakest competitor.
All right, so Widow placed Sherry at the top of her list and left Aiden Zane at the bottom. Jada chooses Gigi Good for her top spot and places Heidi in Closet as her least threatening competitor. Next, RuPaul announces that this week's Maxi Challenge.
For this week's Maxi Challenge, you'll be improvising your way through a little show we like to call The World's Worst. Working in 4 teams, you'll play wannabe performers with big dreams, outrageous backstories, but a no talent whatsoever. And you need to make us laugh. Hashtag Drag Race.
All right, the 4 team leaders will be Jada, Widow, and Aiden Zane and Heidi in Closet, the 2 queens at the bottom of their rankings. And the teams broke down as follows. Okay, so Team Aiden Zane, and I want to talk about this. I got into a little bit yesterday in the first response. I want to get your thoughts here, Taylor. In Team Aiden Zane, she went with Sherry Pie and Britta. To me, I mean, perfect choices. In fact, how Britta wasn't snatched up in the first round, I don't know. It's sort of weird. Yeah. Next, we have Heidi in Closet. She chose Jackie Cox and Gigi Good. Again, seemed like a strong pairing there, or a strong group. Then we have Team Widow Von Du. She goes Nikki Doll and Crystal Method. Now, Crystal Method was one of the last ones chosen. The girls already know at this point. This is the part that doesn't get me. It's sort of weird. The girls at this point already know what the challenge is. They know it's an improv challenge. Don't you think, based on what you know, Crystal Method would get snatched up right away?
Why? I don't understand
because
why Crystal would get snatched up.
Because she seemed, in other words, if you were in her group, you know that she's kooky. And don't you think you want someone kooky rather than a look queen? Like Widow Von Du,
and there's unstable.
Yeah, but hold on for a second. Widow Von Du, on her first round, she picks Nikki Doll. What would make you think Nikki Doll in any possible way would be a great improv artist? Which her second round, she does pick Crystal Method, but they're hometown girls. She knows, so she would know better than anybody what Crystal can do. And why her over Nikki Doll?
But that might be it. That might be because she knows better than anybody else what Crystal's like. Mm-hmm. And maybe she doesn't necessarily because she's familiar with Crystal's work.
Yeah.
Maybe she's not a fan of it and thought, okay, well, maybe I could take a chance doing something with Nikki with, you know, whether it's looks or whether it's the French accent or whatever it is. Are we not going to talk about the other stuff that happened first, though? Like the meeting each other and all that kind of
we'll
thing?
talk about it. Right now, I'm just talking about the team.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Just like this Rock M. Sakura, okay? Who, like, let me...
I want to be the bad apple. Can I be the bad apple?
He's like, oh, my God. I'm like, calm down. And then finally, Team Jada Essence Hall. She chooses Jan and Dahlia Sid. Weird selection there. And then Rock M. Sakura is left. He gets to choose what group he's going to go to. And that's the team he chooses to go to? Wouldn't you go to teams?
Because it's people that he knew. So maybe he felt like you were saying yourself, you kind of have to gauge the room when you're in a new situation. He already knows these girls. So maybe that's why he decided he wanted to go with them and be a part of their group.
Maybe. I don't know if that was a good, I don't know if that was a good choice. Okay, Taylor. So let's talk about this here. What were your thoughts on the girls meeting each other?
It was like we said probably would happen similar to season 6 of where they all kind of give each other big hugs and air kisses and everything is okay. The thing in the beginning with, oh, you guys fought, and they said, no, we didn't fight. To which Jackie goes, which one of the two you fought? And they immediately said, point to each, these two fought.
Yeah.
I thought was funny. That was probably a little playing with the editing, but still. And I also liked when Jada asked Gigi, what are you good at? And she goes, what did she say? She said something like, name it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very confident, that was a good answer to that. There was still something sort of, it felt very, they both seemed very protective of the groups. There wasn't necessarily quite as much of a mingling as I would like, but they also weren't as ugly to each other as I would like. Everybody seemed very guarded, even though the one group was sharing more information about the arguing and I love when bitches tell me their weaknesses. I thought that was funny. I thought that was going to be your quote for the day.
No, what was almost the quote, and I was going to had to wait for the iTunes release, and then I was like, and I had to deal with, I don't know where Jay Ellis is, so I couldn't pull it, was Heidi saying, fuck all you bitches. And then I have another one I almost chose. The other one I do have it lined up right here. I almost chose this one.
I'm not finna be this damn orange. No.
That was the other one I had. So, it went as complete as follows, and you're right. It was there is one weakness to the season 6 type split of premiere. Is I feel usually by episode 3 the girls have started to forget where the cameras are there, and they start to become themselves more. But I think of bringing the two tribes together restarts the awareness of the cameras, and they don't want to be that bitch. No one wants to be Gia Gunn, kind of being aggressive to everybody. And so they're back to being super aware and super friendly. We'll see how it plays out, but I think what happens is it makes episode 3 a more boring episode than normal. That also said, and we'll get into this later, and I know we don't want to mention a person who shall not be named, but as we speculated that if World of Wonder was going to do any editing, it was going to be in trimming, the confessionals and doing all that, which is exactly what they did. And it's probably one of the contributions to why this is a weak episode. In that we don't know, but we can speculate that there was a Sherry Pie storyline, and we lost it. And so now there's sort of this floating mass of an episode that has no real storyline.
And it doesn't do Britta any service, because even if it was Britta and Sherry feeling like they had to carry Aiden, it's only they show Sherry talking very little through the entire episode. Yes. So then it just looks like it's Britta piling on Aiden. That doesn't do well with with Britta's edit either, or the perception that some of us would have about Britta, like my concerns that I talked about at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Aiden, we're New York queens. And we don't put up with no bullshit from people from Atlanta. So go fuck yourself. You're a horrible improv person.
Which, by the way...
Hot dogs here. Get your dirty water, hot dogs, you fucking bitch. I will fucking cut you and I'll stomp I'll do a curb stomp on your face. Anyway.
Do you want a New York seltzer to go with your dog?
Yeah, it's going to be... at the end of this, your name's going to be Aiden Payne. Because that's what you're going to be feeling, because we're from New York. You got that, queen.
Oh, by the way, Aiden, I think you'd be great for this role. You have to meet my casting agent friend, Allison Mossy.
Mossy.
Mossy. Yeah, you got to meet her. She's so great. You have to meet her.
I happen to have some of her cards right here in my purse.
Yeah, I just happen. Yeah, you just email her right now. She's unavailable for the next 4 weeks or so. She's in Los Angeles on business, Hollywood show business, if you will.
Yes, but she's a very big deal. She gets you into all the major pictures.
In fact, she's working on a play right now. It's about a guy who needs to get as big as possible, and he loves to smell his armpits. I think you'd be perfect for it.
Tell me, Aiden, how are your armpits?
Yeah, tell me.
I need to lay the information back.
Do you have smelly armpits? Do
Could you do me a favor? Could you take a couple of laps around the studio on a hot day and then come back and describe in excruciating detail how smelly your armpits are?
Yes.
Write it down for me
Allison.
and send it to me via text.
Yeah. Allison told me she needed to know. I kind of like the smell.
Sherry, when did you become the little midget from season 4? Whatever her name is. Okay. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, about how Sherry Pine who's meeting her. But you know what's so funny is, and maybe when Jay Ellis gets on here at any point that he shows up,
Is he rating you?
I don't want to say. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I don't know, Taylor.
Us New York queens, Taylor, let me tell you, we don't fucking
We stick together.
loose lips sink a ships, if you know what I mean.
Let me tell you something. Us Los Angeles podcasters, we're a tight-knit.
Yeah.
And no one gets into the family unless we say they're part of them.
Yeah.
You understand me? Capiche?
Yeah.
Capiche?
Capiche? We don't like any kind of newcomers around here.
Okay, so what were we talking about? Oh. So I was going to say I have zero to little to no improv or sketch training. I wish somebody who did would be on the air. Oh,
Los Angeles.
Speaking of, well, just in time.
Who decided to
Yes, and here I am.
Now, Jay, wait, hold on for a second. I was so worried.
I brought receipts of our conversation just in case.
Well, what are the receipts? Because maybe I'm wrong here. Because I scheduled Adam Burns around this and everything.
Really? Mm-hmm. Let me pull them up. Where are you guys at on the show, just so I can know where I'm in my notes?
Right now, we're talking about Brita Filter and Sherry being kind of hard on what the fuck is her name? Aiden Zane.
Aiden.
But that because of the edit, Sherry gets taken out. It looks like Brita's just bullying Aiden, kind of.
Is this what's going to happen right now with you two? I feel like I'm going to be into a corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here
where Joe's going to edit himself out. And it's just going to be me.
No. It's going to be one of these things where like, oh, Jay's here. Well, thank God, Jay. Oh, Jay, we're so happy you're here now. It's so fun and so. Which, by the way, you better get your groundling chops because I need your insight into this, and that's actually where you came in. But hold on for a second. Hold on. So anyway, Jay, it's so happy. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
This Jay Ellis, I don't know what the fuck. He's just showing up now all of a sudden. Just come on, get with it, fucking Jay. What do you think this is? AfterBuzz TV?
I was trying to spend the day with my husband for his birthday. I had to wipe down. I had to hit that thing with a rag because Joe called me in a panic because Jay couldn't show up for time for his fucking episode. What the fuck? I have things to do. I have a life other than Joe Betance.
No, he doesn't.
I brought...
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
No, nothing. It's, I'm sorry that I wasn't there. I woke up and saw the text and took out my dog real fast as I could. That's what was in the text, but it's okay. I'm happy to talk about the groundlings.
I feel like you said, can we do it at 9 after I walk my dog? I feel there's a text that says that.
I gave more of a time bubble than that, but that's not important. I'm here now.
He's here now.
He's here now.
Okay, well, you know what I'd love to hear, and then we can let Taylor go, is because we know you prepared your notes and everything. We're here, and there's not much to this episode anyway.
Right.
Is what were the 2 things you liked about the episode and 1 thing you did not?
2 things that I liked was I liked the theme of the runway, and not necessarily the looks, but I really liked the idea of buttons and bows. That I think that could have been a really fun thing, and I think some of the girls really excelled with what they did. And a second thing I liked...
Yep. That's exactly where we were.
Coyote Ugly played after, which was kind of cool. No, there's got to be something in there. There wasn't much. I think I liked Jan this episode. She was kind of my standout, and I think that we're seeing her kind of as our narrator for the season, just because I think that we're going to lose Sherry Pie in all aspects of this show. And then the one thing I didn't like is they need to get rid of whatever these challenges are, where they just have kind of an outline versus sketch or improv. These queens just, especially maybe with this many people, until they kind of weed out some of the ones, I think that it gets so lost. Everybody just gets so lost that we don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, and I said that as well, that they maybe want to wait, but maybe they don't. What you just said kind of sparked something. Maybe this is a way to weed out some of the weaker queens, as we saw with that fast. That shows you how bad of a queen not how bad of a queen she is, but I keep forgetting Dahlia's name. Like, I feel like at the reunion, they're going to share. I'm going to go, oh, she was a part of this.
Yeah.
She just struggled so much that this was a way of kind of chopping off the fat, as it were.
But do you feel like you got a sense after this challenge of who was strong and who was weak?
No.
Yeah, I would hope that, like, sometimes you would see like a Bianca rise to the top or Adore just kind of charming her way through this challenge. But 2 season 6 references, but I just didn't get a sense of who would be good as a comedy queen from this challenge at all.
Yeah. Well, wasn't the first episode when they were all together. That was the Drag Me to Hell episode in season 6, but that was a scripted episode,
right?
Versus
it was
improv.
scripted.
Mm-hmm.
It's hit and miss. I think the problem with this was because the scripted ones can be good. Remember, though, after season 7, they fired everybody, so whoever those people were are gone. But the scripted ones were good, but then I feel when they give the girls a little more leeway, they're not bad either. But this one was so specific that they had to be 3 people who shared one brain, and had to do that. That the girls, I don't know if they're skilled enough. We'll get to it when we get to it, but there are parts where I'm like, I think the entire. Well, I'm just going to say this. We can comment and we'll come back to it. I think the entire premise is very difficult. The entire premise is they have to be the worst. They have to be the best at being the worst, which is, I think, already, if you're a skilled improv or sketch comedian, that would be a difficult premise to come up with. Am I wrong? Legendary sketch and improv, graduate of the Groundlings program, Jay Ellis.
I dropped out of Groundlings. I'm at UCB now, but yeah, that's the point. Is like, you want to, if you're going to be bad, it's actually harder to play a person who's not knowledgeable about something than it is to play somebody who excels and able to make up facts kind of on the spot, I think.
Yeah, but
to
even
take something like, imagine Taylor, if you're playing like a mental health expert, to really dumb yourself down and to make it seem like you don't. It's just like you've had so many skills to make you this way. I don't know, right? It's hard to make yourself make yourself dumb.
Yeah, it's
I feel dumb all the time at work.
No, but it's the best at being the worst, which is such a weird, hard thing, because how would you? I was even trying to think about it, even with only one of the sketches, because I think of maybe a workaround for it, yeah, because actually, I'm starting to get into it. Let's now, Taylor. By the way, I know you were stepping in, and you're welcome to stay as long as you like and leave when you like.
I'll stay for a little while longer.
Yeah. You can stay as long as you like, because who knows? Jay may be like, and I have a dentist appointment in 5 minutes. I'm like, what? I have receipts, bitch. It's like CVS, and he takes like a whole long list of
scroll.
Yeah, scroll.
Yeah.
He wears
it as a scarf.
Can
here.
I interrupt real quick? Taylor you look so good. Marriage looks so good on you, Taylor. I haven't seen you in so long. Yeah,
I know.
Right?
I think this is the first time you and I are actually seeing each other, like on video.
You girls look good.
There's room for everyone.
I know.
All right. Well, so in the episode, you guys were right at the part where Britta and Sherry are talking to Aiden about the challenge.
We kind of jumped ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what Joe's thoughts are about the beginning where Widow and Jada ranked everybody top to bottom.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about that. Honestly, and I have that ranking right here, thanks to producer extraordinaire Luke Stamen, which, by the way, I'm contractually obligated to say that, Widow put him in this order: Sherry Pie, Jan, Dahlia Sin, Rock M, Sakura, and Aiden Zane. Based on what he was faced with, or she was faced with, I don't think Widow did a bad job there. I think it's probably very close to the order I would have put them in. Did you guys have any thoughts on Widow's order there?
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Jay?
If anything, just based on what they came in, because they came in straight from the challenge, or what they saw them from after their challenge.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that that's. I think just because Dahlia's makeup was a little bit not my favorite off the runway, she probably would have been swapped with Rockham.
Okay, I could see that. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
And then with Jada's order, I have a very minor switch like that, but she puts Gigi, Britta, Nikki, Jackie, Crystal, and Heidi in that order. I think I would have done something very similar based on the little that I would have known. Do you guys have any disagreement, or would you have changed the order in any kind of way?
I would have switched Crystal and Heidi. I would have made where Crystal was the last one.
All right.
Yeah. I think that's actually my exact order. That's what I would have put.
Oh, it is? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that they did a bad job. I think that they actually did what I would have done it. And even knowing what I know, and they don't even know that. I think I would have put it in that order. Okay, and then I guess any other things for Jay to catch up on. I think that's pretty much it, right, Taylor?
Yeah, I think that brings us up to where we are now.
All right, very good. All right, back to it. The queens get to work on their improv performances and assign their roles based on the provided prompts. Britta doesn't trust Aiden's leadership. Jada and Rock both want to play the bad apple. Jackie Cox teaches her teammates the basics of improv, and Nikki doesn't want to be the pretty one. Next, RuPaul entered the workroom to perform some table visits. Ru asks Widow why she put Aiden in the bottom. Ru comes up with some alternative names for Heidi, and Rock M. Sakura is the one bad apple in the group because she can't be the bad apple in the group. All right, ladies. We'll start with Taylor because he stepped in at the last minute. Your thoughts on everything that happened in the workroom and the table visits, Taylor's Latte Boy. I know you don't, or do you want to go second, Taylor, because you don't have notes because you didn't know you're going to be on the air? What would you? I'll give you the choice.
I can talk about two things that I remember from the episode. One is I get that they don't like Heidi's name. There's something about Ru telling Heidi why her name sucks. I found to be sort of bullying and sort of this. So you're going to change your name because I don't like it. I had a problem with that. And then it was brought up on the runway. And I get that Heidi's going to do whatever Ru says, but I don't like, I didn't care for that. The other thing, when Rockham said emotional core, you watched Ru get a boner because you knew that she was just going to pounce and go, well, you need these girls for an emotional core? Well, what's going on? I don't understand. And you could watch, it's sort of like that gif of the girl that's panicked looking around while the camera's shaking where she's trying to figure out what she's going to do. You could see that in Rockham's brain with oh shit, what did I just step in and how can I get myself out of this? And even after Ru walked away and she turned to the other girls and said, I want to be the apple, you can watch that insecurity on her face. It's such a ridiculous thing to say out loud, but you can watch, be the apple. I want to be the apple. Watch the insecurity and watch the second guessing and watch the panic. And that was not fun to watch just because we've all been there before, and I don't want to see Rockham go through that, especially if she keeps wearing those shorts that she does.
All right, very good. Jay, what were your thoughts here?
During the table visit, I had the same idea of Ru kind of Heidi in Closet is a terrible name, but for Ru to keep coming back to it, and I mean, it's got to change. Otherwise, what are we doing this all for? My biggest thing for the table visit was when Rockham and Jada were talking about their roles, and she goes, so what are you playing to Rockham, I guess we're calling. And she goes, oh, I'm an orange. And then to Jada, she goes, and who are you playing? She goes, I'm a sad apple. And Ru busts up laughing. Like, what was so funny about that? And I mean, it like made Rockham like shake to the core.
Yeah.
But kind of what you were saying, Taylor, I think Rockham is really playing every episode, or I mean, I guess we've only had her for 2, but even in Untucked, is sucking. It's kind of like a Eureka energy where I'm seeing this. I need a storyline, and I want to have the highs and the lows of these episodes. So I feel like these moments that she's having, like we're not far away from her mirror moment being just like, when I was a kid, I had this, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it's just going to be like a list of things that has happened to Rockham.
Well, she had that already. She had that already with the
I think there's more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I think
probably is, but
yeah. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah.
You know, what's so funny is, okay, I'm going to go back to the Rue. I never thought about this until you guys talked about it, but Rue and the name with Heidi and whatnot. And here's the deal, is there's a trade-off. Okay, maybe you say it's bullying. People don't know this. Before Taylor came on the show, his name was Larry the Latte Boy, and I changed it to Taylor in the same way. I'm like, Taylor Latte Boy has more of a name ring to it. And, but wouldn't it be, I mean, I feel Rue loves Heidi. I think, clearly at this point, Rue has two favorites, Heidi and Crystal, okay? And I feel, I mean, that would be the fucking gag of all gags, that the person who gave you your name is RuPaul. Like, that is a fucking, even if you don't win, that is the fucking crown of all crowns, that you were named by RuPaul, you know? And so I think there's a trade-off there. The part with Rock, I found that to be so cringy, what was happening, that I was rewatching it again this morning, which is so sad. Usually when I rewatch the episodes, because there's so much content, I want to make sure I get everything. This one, I had to rewatch it. I'm like, what did I watch? I'm like, I don't remember anything. So I was rewatching it, and I had to like click forward 10 seconds during that moment because I found it so cringy. Because the whole thing is like, one, she wasn't even chosen to be in the group. Like, she was the last person. So I just sort of feel like you just, by that nature, have your tail between your legs. In Rockham's case, as we can tell in our shorts, the tail's in the front part, but they're between her legs nonetheless. And you just take whatever role they give you and just shut your fucking mouth and do good in that role. So I find it kind of cringy that Jada, who is the team leader, has chosen this character for herself, and that she comes back and says, like, no, I want the bad apple. Because I saw RuPaul laugh at you saying, it was so, I was like, it was so cringy, and I was just like, I couldn't watch it. I find Rock very, very cringy, I'm not going to lie. Thank you. Any other thoughts on this workroom and table visit segment?
I just had one. Did you think that with Nikki Doll not wanting to be the sexy one, she didn't want to be the sexy one? Why was that? She just wanted to play drunk?
Okay.
I think that she is afraid early on. One, I think, again, it's creating storyline content, but I think the idea behind this is she doesn't want to be pegged as just the pretty one. She wants to be able to show things that she can do. Like she talked about that she's a really good lip syncer. That's yet to be seen, but we will, I think she wants to show that she has a broad range of things that she can do otherwise.
Okay.
All right, here we go. But going back, Nikki Doll. Yeah, I think they don't want to be seen, which I would love to. One time, I would love to be the sexier, pretty one. No, how would someone look at this shirt and not thinking I'm super fucking sexy, right? But like, I would love one time to be. Do you think? Look how white I am. See, this is why. This is what Trump wants to put in a cage. You know, look at this white skin. Thank you.
Touch this skin. Touch all this skin, darling.
Touch this skin. Touch all this skin, darling. Are you going through it? Are you going through the change of life? All right, it's time for the improv challenge, the world's worst. Carson Kressley is the Ryan Seacrest character, and in the audition room, the judges are Ross Matthews as Bossy Rossi, season 6 icon Ornacia, as voiced by Vivacious.
Or rather, as voiced by Vivacious through an iPhone 5 and that file set.
Mala?
The sound was so...
Mala? How's it going? I'll tell you one thing. This sketch is the pets. And Variety...
You sound like a Gungan from episode 1.
No, I sound like you after you blew Babalu this morning.
Okay.
I gotta go do. I gotta go do the RuPaul's. I'm gonna spit the singing out of my mouth.
I'm gonna listen. I don't spit.
What'd you say?
I gotta listen to the first part of the episode.
No, Jay. Literally, this is how devoted Taylor is. I text him. I go, "It's 9:00 and Jay's not here." He's like, "Let me just wash the cum out of my ass and I'll be there in a second."
And that is not what I said.
Okay.
I don't believe Taylor would ever wash it out of his ass, so I don't believe that story.
lady.
Yeah. He let it drip down his leg. Okay. That's so funny. Okay, so the premise of...
I enjoy Jay Ellis. Can we say how much I'm enjoying Jay Ellis right now?
Oh, wow. Okay, so the premise was, and we discussed this, that these teams are an American Idol type show, and they have to be the worst to get a ticket to West Hollywood? That right? Yeah, even that is a confusing premise. Because the question too is, are they aware that they have to be the worst? Because it seems like they're trying to be the best.
Okay, I was going to say, I even questioned that it is even an American Idol parody because there was no it was set up like that. But is America's Got Talent the same idea where they have? I don't know who's even on the panel, but do they have to show their talent during an audition phase to get to Hollywood? Because it seemed like once they were in the room, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, I have no idea what they were doing. In fact, we're going to break it down. So go ahead.
Technically,
Taylor.
Only 2 of the groups got tickets, right?
Yeah, only 2 of them got tickets.
The Fruit Group and then the Squirrels.
The Del Rio Trio.
Tickets, but
yeah.
The Del Rios got tickets, and the 3 women, 1 brain got tickets, but the other ones were not.
I like how Taylor treats like it's a real contest. Like everyone in Hollywood Week, in West Hollywood Week, we're going to see the Del Rio Trio versus 3 girls, 1 brain.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, let's go one by one. The first is the Del Rio Trio. I think there's a couple of things here. The name itself is a play on Reddit. There was this thing where they would play
the Del Rubio triplets.
Well, no, we'll get the Del Rubio triplets, but on Reddit they would play with Bianca's name, and I know at one point they were calling her Bianca Del Taco Trio, like a weird name they had came up with her. Okay, and then did you know who the Del Rubio triplets are, Jay?
No, I don't even know who is that.
They were the Southern California based these 3 old ladies who would wear like fuck me shorts and fuck me. I don't know what they were called technically, but those like little like shorts that they wear in the suit. They're just like mod 60s girls. But they were like old ladies, and they would do like these like country versions of like 80s and 90s pop songs. And they would go to nursing homes, and they somehow got like sort of like quirky, campy famous. Like Pee Wee Herman would have him on his show.
Pee Wee Herman, yeah.
Yeah, and then I feel like someone said they were on some other show too, right? But they would do like those.
They were on a Golden Girls at one point.
Yes, they
did, like,
are.
When the Golden Girls had to like organize a variety show. They were on that, and they were very much anytime a sitcom or like a show was doing something that was based around a variety show, they always kind of had them on, and they would do a fast country version of like Pump Up the Jam or something ridiculous like that from that time frame.
Yeah,
I just saw a picture and I recognize them from Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Exactly. Yeah, okay, they were always like wacky, campy like that. So, and then I think they're all dead now. I think they are.
Hilarious.
To be. That was 30 years ago.
Yeah, they were old then. Yeah. But so I think there's a couple of things at play here. But what did you think of this sketch where Gigi Good is dead for most of it?
I don't know. You mentioned this in your first response, and I don't understand how they got away with this. Actually, to have Gigi not even be an active player for 95% of their whole sketch.
Yeah,
it's wild to me. And then also to call it improv, it seemed like they got a premise with a character breakdown so that they knew who it was. So really, that instead of improv, that should be called a sketch.
Yeah, with
I guess improv elements. So I don't really know what they had planned out because in my head, it was too planned of a sketch or to be an improv because if Gigi had decided to die in the moment of the sketch, that's an improv. Like that's a choice she's making, and the other two have to adjust immediately to that. But it seemed like everything that they were saying was just such a canned activity. It was really bizarre.
Well, 100% planned, because that's why they had Carson come out and surprise them, and then it was that shock that killed Gigi Good, so that they clearly told Carson, okay, we need you to come out and surprise us and say hello so that she dies. It seemed, everything across the board seemed like high school, when you tell high school kids to do improv, because every sketch, including this one, ended with just chaos and running around, and because at the end of the sketch, remember, Gigi Good inexplicably comes back to life, and then the other girls have this crazy death scene for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Right. And I think that was just struggling to find an ending. And I don't know, because there's only 2 teams that I wrote that actually had an ending.
Yeah.
to like kind of put a button on their story, and they were one of them, and it wasn't fantastic, but at least that's a way to get out of a scene, is to, I guess, cause a shift in the narrative and to get out of the scene.
Taylor, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was one of the two better ones, but I think that was primarily because of Heidi and Jackie. I feel like Gigi came back to life, because if not, they could have read Gigi for not saying anything, for literally just laying there like a bump on a log. So they had to do something. She probably said, I need to be able to say something at some point. So that's why they came up with the idea of her coming back to life.
But what's so funny is if you think about if we buy into the story of the sketch, is Gigi and Jackie are the ones like, Jackie's like, it's so funny once she says that she has tons of improv experience. I'm like, she looks like someone who does improv. Okay, let's be honest. But there's like, look, they're always like thin and attractive with glasses.
Like Laurie.
Oh, yeah. So
I feel very attacked.
And then Heidi's the one that's like, I don't even know what improv is. Is that something you cook something in? It's just something cute, right? Wouldn't you have made her the dead one? Because Gigi's like, yes, it's yes and. Like, Gigi's all of a sudden like the little echo, like she's Yago all of a sudden when Jackie's teaching her how to do improv. And so, but like Gigi's the one that, it didn't make, I want everyone, I didn't laugh at anything, at any of these sketches, ever. Nothing. Not even like in a funny kind of way. So, Del Rio Trio, how many thumbs down are we giving this? Or thumbs up? How many thumbs up, Jay?
I actually, on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave them a 5.
Oh, a 5?
This is retroactively looking at all of the groups. I went back and rated how well the performance was, and they got a 5.
All right, what would you say?
It doesn't go much. It doesn't go higher than that.
Okay. What about you, Taylor?
If we're doing a 1 to 10, I would say a 4.
All right. The correct answer is 3. Okay, next one is...
One thing, I did a little bit of research.
Yeah.
The Del Rubio triplets are, in fact, all dead.
Yes.
They died in 96, 2001, 2011, and they appeared on various television appearances, and this speaks to what we're talking about. Married with Children, Full House, The Golden Girls, Night Court, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, The New Monkeys, Ellen, and Pee-wee's Playhouse.
What is all shows that nobody in our audience has ever heard of? It's true. Taylor, by the way, we should have talked about this. I was thinking, and I mentioned this in the first response, how filled with rage were you that Crystal had no idea who El DeBarge was?
Oh, I grimaced when she said it. And I was like, oh, God, that just means I'm old.
Jay, did you know who
bands that... I made sure to watch old episodes of Facts of Life and All in the Family just so I could make some Taylor the Latte Boy references, some timely Taylor the Latte Boy references.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who that was, but I knew that this is the rhythm of the night. I knew the song. I just didn't know who that was.
Yeah. That's very Ann Jillian of you, Jay. Anyway, so that's for Taylor. All right, the next one was the one that I watched it again, and I still don't know anything about this. The Squirrel Scouts from Camp Bangaho. What's funny is watching this on a second run through is the premise actually started off kind of good in that you might have even missed it, which was that they collect going on reality show merit badges, and that's why they were on this show. And I was like, oh, this could be interesting if they were like, oh, we're only on this show because we go on a bunch of reality shows. But then they just veered from that, and then they started selling nut butter, and it made no sense whatsoever. Now this consisted of Crystal, Widow Von Du, and who was the third person? Nikki Doll. Thank you. What were your thoughts on this, Taylor the Latte Boy?
Horrible. I didn't really understand it. They all looked lost, including Widow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Widow had more to play with just because she was acting drunk, but she wasn't necessarily acting very well. It just seemed like there wasn't any nuance to it. Now, I get with improv, nuance isn't necessarily a word you may use regularly, but it just seemed very sloppy.
Yeah.
But not again, when you're acting like you're supposed to be drunk, and you're acting sloppy, there should be a level of control to that.
Yeah.
And that I don't feel as though she had.
Yeah.
You know, any of us could just do the whoa and just kind of go back like that, and anybody could do what she did.
Well, again, the remaining, at least the next one for sure, both of them ended the way high school improv sketches end, with everyone just running around and screaming. Yeah. But Jay, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. This was, I put no interaction. It felt like there was nothing between the widow, Nikki, or Crystal that really linked them together. And their backstory of being sisters who were camping together and then they became family kind of thing because their mom left them. There was nothing to follow. It just was a terrible challenge. And I kind of placed that on obviously the producers, but they did nothing to elevate. They didn't and add information. No. They didn't add any information that made sense anyway. I don't really know. I don't get it. This was on my low side.
Oh, yeah. What was your number there, Jay?
That was a 3.
Oh, that was a 3. Taylor?
2.
Correct answer? 2. Taylor was right. By the way, best line of the sketch, Charo saying, "You got on my teats."
Charo was funnier than any of these sketches.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Charo's a national treasure.
How old is Charo now?
Oh, Jay, here we go.
Same age as the Del Rio triplets. Del Rubio.
Okay, the next sketch we have is the Fruity Patooties. This consisted of, let me see if I can do it from memory. This is Rakim Sakura, Jada Essence Hall, Jan, and who? Dahlia Sin. She's playing the broccoli. Okay, now what were your thoughts, Jay? What can you tell us here?
Well, it's so funny because jumping to the runway, Michelle goes, "You're fruity," like as if the premise was so clear. Like you guys are supposed to be, and then broccoli is an ally.
Yeah.
So I don't really even know what the original storyline was because we didn't get a glimpse into what they were doing at all. This was the only one that didn't have a Carson pre-interview.
Oh, it did.
Like Carson wasn't there as like so I don't know what happened there.
I noticed that.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of strange just to not to have that introduction. And then the one thing I'll say is that usually when you're being a character who's coming late into a scene, you build up this character. So when Jada is the apple who's going to make an entrance into the scene, the other characters should already have prepared the audience for who this person is and what to expect.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that. So all these, I don't know what was the difference between the orange and the apple? Why was Rakim wanting to be the apple?
The apple was sad.
Anyway, I couldn't even tell you who Jan was playing. Oh, grapes. Yeah. So hilarious.
Well,
I don't know. It was.
Wouldn't it have made more sense? And I understand the ridiculousness of that statement. Is if the sad or angry person of that was the broccoli coming in, where you've got all of the fruits, and then you have technically a vegetable that comes in yelling at the fruits that wants to be a part of the fruit gang.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I think the joke was that it was a Brock ally.
Yeah.
Of like somebody, which I guess is a straight person compared to Fruity. I could not make sense of this.
The ending of it is it turns out that they're all really straight, which doesn't make where did that because isn't the joke that I feel the joke is a wink about Fruity Patooties. Like where did it and it actually became super on the nose that they were gay. But then also, why would them being straight disqualify? And there's no logic to this sketch whatsoever. The other thing, too, is even as an improv sketch group, there's a moment where when Jada, as the bad apple, comes in, and she confronts the broccoli. I don't know why she's mad at the broccoli. And then there's just this long pause, and the other two are looking. Now, Jay, I am not a sketch and improv expert like you, but shouldn't they, as team members, jumped in and helped her and sort of helped the scene?
That's my whole point, is that nobody elevated any of these scenes where it felt like they were adding information. It just felt like they were maybe given bullet points, and they said you have to hit these certain points to move the story along. And then it might have said Ross will ask a question and then improv from there. I feel like the challenge was so not laid out correctly for the audience that it fell flat. So, but yes, everybody should have been there as a team to support each other.
Yeah.
And adding information. And I'm sorry, were they fruit? Were they supposed to be fruit, or are they people in fruit costumes?
I don't know. And also, what would be their talent? Why are they the world's worst? I didn't even know what they were there for.
That's what I'm saying is these are the questions that keep me up at night.
Yeah. What's the number you give this one, Jay?
This is a generous 2. And can I say I put a star when I saw the teams how the teams shook out. Mm-hmm. I said, I put a star saying that this was going to be the team to win. Like I thought this was the standout because of Jan and Jada. I thought they were going to really rise up to the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it was my lowest scored.
All right, very good. What about you, Taylor?
1. They get a 1.
The correct answer is 1.5. So I feel you guys are equally distant there. All right, the final one we have is 3 Girls, 1 Brain. This is Sherry Pie, Aiden Zane, and who was the other one? Oh, Britta Filter.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts on this, but this was supposed to be that they shared one brain and that was their talent, but we find out they were frauds all along at the end. It's super weird. But Jay, what were your thoughts here?
I liked the makeup and the costuming, like they had just been struck by the lightning. I thought it was cool to carry that storyline into the actual audition. Mm-hmm. If anything, if we're not going to see comedy, I'd rather see a look from these queens, and I thought that they achieved that at least. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was Sherry's choice to break format and say, oh, forget it, I'm not going along with this. It was all a con. Yeah. If that was her choice and that was an improv, fantastic. If it was laid out on the paper for them, I don't really know what they did besides I like just making sentences very slowly, and who was the leader of that? I don't know.
Yeah. But it felt sort of like Ross was helping them out when he walked over and said, if I slap one of you, then the other ones will. I almost feel like that was sort of, they weren't expecting that, but it's something that was easy to follow as far as if he were to come up and to do that with them.
He definitely stepped in.
Well, but don't you think, and I was, and I talked about this in the first response, it reminded me a lot of the Garth and Kim sketches on SNL, the Despot that they would do during Weekend Update. Now, again, Jay, and if Lori Roggenkamp here were they help me, I don't know if that's like a standard improv game in a place like the Groundlings or whatever, but where the other person has to match it. But it didn't seem like they played that game, you know? Where like on the Garth and Kim sketches, it was Fred Armisen was always trying to like fuck Kristen Wiig up, you know, making it hard for her to copy what he was saying. But but it seemed like they actually that's the part that doesn't make any sense when you watch the workroom. Is Britta and Sherry are mad at Aiden for not having this memorized line, but isn't that the humor that one of them is taking the lead and they're kind of. This is almost a place where it's forgiven to break character and laugh, and it didn't seem like they were doing that. They actually took it very seriously and they thought they were building characters. I could be wrong here. But this is one where you had the most artistic freedom to sort of like actually really do improv, even in the context of the sketch.
Well, the accusation of not leading in this challenge is off the wall. It's bonkers. I don't know where, because first off, improv is very team based. Yeah. You know, you're depending on each other. And in that instance, did they want they wanted Aiden to be the one to start the sentences and then they lead, or did they have a system where Britta starts one, Sherry starts one, Aiden starts, like we just weren't in, as the audience, we don't know. We have no idea what was actually going on.
I got the sense that they had these pre-canned lines because that was the thing was, remember there's a part where Aiden keeps going and Britta's like, it's like, what are you doing? You know? And I'm like, no, that would have been funny if like she kept going. That's the sort of, and especially in the premise of, if you think about it, in the premise of their sketch, unless, like you said, she went off and took it on her own. But if she's messing up and then giving away that this is not real, I'm even confusing myself talking about this. This is a 0 in my book. What was you? Which, by the way, they keep talking about how it's the best sketch of the night.
I would agree with that. I think
really?
Of the 4 of them, I think it was the best one. That's not saying much.
Yeah.
But it was the one that I at least cracked a smile a couple of times when they were talking because of that whole, chocolate.
Yeah.
They all kind of are looking at each other, but they're trying to not look at each other at the same time. It was fun. It was the most fun to watch of all of them because it wasn't just screaming and running around and being stupid.
And I think the reason for that is that everybody can relate to trying to, when you're with friends or something, you try to do this where you're like, oh, let's all try to say something. Or when you were younger even. Yeah. So everybody has that past of trying to do this. Or on a podcast. This got a huge 4 from me.
Oh, wow. What about you, Taylor?
I actually would give this a 5.
Whoa! That's weird because you guys are both so wrong. The correct answer is 1. Even though I said 0 earlier. Okay. All right. The queens get ready for the runway and discuss the maxi challenge. Sherry and Britta tell Aiden that they feel that she didn't lead them at all in the challenge. Jada tells Dahlia she gives her only child energy. And Dahlia, in her traditional pre-elimination mirror moment, tells the group that she has a twin brother who is also gay and also wants to start doing drag. Your thoughts, Taylor the Latte Boy. What were your thoughts here?
The coming out story for Dahlia was interesting. You kind of also sort of saw the writing on the wall when she got her mirror moment. It's not a lot. There's not necessarily a whole lot to talk about with this one. I feel like even with just not a lot to talk about. I feel like these mirror moments, they're going to have to really give us kind of something completely different in order to sort of care about them.
Shay?
I echo everything Taylor said. It was a sealing your fate once that story came out.
The one thing I would say is what a fucking idiot Dahlia is. You have an identical twin brother who's gay and wants to do drag. You could make a fortune as an identical, like almost like Boulet Brothers style drag team doing identical fierce drag. And the Boulet Brothers aren't even twins. They're just dating,
Guess it's going to be on season 13.
Saw ya din.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, now... Oh, I'm sorry. So, guys, now, Jay, you are a Patreon supporter at the premium level, I believe.
Yes.
And Taylor, you're a Patreon supporter. What level are you at?
Whatever's the lowest one.
Yeah. But anyway...
The $3 level.
Yeah. No, thank you guys so much. If I could make it free for you guys, I would, but Patreon is an evil master. Anyway, the point is, over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia, now, if you're listening right now and watching live, I'm just preaching to the choir. Guys, you're getting so many shows. You're getting a first response video show where you can come in. Yesterday, we had drunk Jordan Darling giving his thoughts on the episode, touching his face the entire time. You have this beautiful video podcast where Jay just pops in late and Taylor comes in fresh after getting his ass reamed on his husband's birthday. Then there's going to be throwing down immediately after this. Then you have the Rulaska thoughts where I don't know what she wants to be called, but drag fashion extraordinaire Haley Sklands gives her thoughts. I think Lori Roggenkamp's will be on this week to talk about the sketches in detail because, as we know, Lori Roggenkamp is an LA comic, sketch and improv legend. And then there's the Pit Crew, which, by the way, I think the Pit Crew's delayed because I think one of them has coronavirus, but that's neither here nor there. I really do. I don't think he knows it.
Are you serious?
I'm being serious.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I don't think
Which
he
one?
knows it. Not Alex, Phillip.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, you're missing all these shows and more over at Patreon. I mean, there's so much content right now. In fact, I think there's too much content. Mike Lawson and I just recorded a whole an hour and a half movie special. So go over to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Sign up at the premium level. You get, it's like literally a brand new show in your feed every day. So go ahead and do that. Now, everyone, it's time for...
The looks.
All right. We have to buzz through this a little bit, but mostly because I don't care. But also because I have a whole fucking show where I do the looks again. But did you have any standout looks there, Jay Ellis?
Yeah, I did top 3, bottom 3 just for the sake of you. Because I know looks aren't your favorite. Does that work for you, Taylor, or how do you want to do it?
I mean, are you going to show the video? I can pretty much say I hate it for everybody but one. So I mean, I wasn't a big fan of anybody's looks except for one look that I really liked. And even that, it was kind of basic.
Okay, well, the rule is with the video, you only have as long as the show. So that means the three of you have to go.
Three of us?
Well, I'm sorry, the two of you. Sorry.
Joe's drunk like Jordan Darley.
I have been watching him touch his face a lot the last hour.
Guys, you have to see this Jordan Darling. If you're not, I'm saying just join Patreon to see Jordan touch his face. I mean, it is like ridiculous. It's like he just can't. It's like it's almost to the point where I actually thought it was like a phantom hand. All right, here we go.
Category is buttons and bows, and first up we have Jada. And Jada's wearing a pink, like a very cotton candy pink with hot pink in a blonde wig, very 1950s wig, I guess. I don't know. I gave this a 7. I liked it. Taylor?
I did not like it. I give it a 4.
Okay. Next up, we had Dahlia Sin, who did kind of a bunny on top and a mess on the bottom, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
gave this a 1.
Yeah.
She didn't really achieve buttons or bows for me, so that was such a low score for me.
2.
Oh, wow.
Next up, we had Rakam Sakura, who did an Alice in Wonderland kind of fantasy mixed in with Tangled, I guess. So she did a long wig with a white and blue dress, bows everywhere. I don't see any button accents, so I feel like she only did half the challenge. And I gave this a 2.
I'm going to give this a 6. I actually do kind of like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And it's something different from last time.
Great. My favorite is up next, and that was Just Jan. She came in a voodoo doll, very New Orleans outfit where she ripped off a mask that had button eyes, and it's stitched, holding in all of her, kind of all of it together, and I gave this a 10. This was my top.
I forgot about this look. I do like that look. I'll give it an 8.
Okay. Next up, we had Heidi in Closet, or Heidi Ho, or whatever her name is. She came out in like a Pinocchio fantasy in a mini skirt that was red, the blue big bow. I didn't see any buttons, so I feel like she only did half the runway. I don't know if they had to incorporate both, but I gave... Oh, there's the buttons. right on her tuchus. I gave it an 8, though. I thought she did great.
5.
Oh. Up next was Gigi Gorgeous. And
Gigi Good.
Gigi Gorgeous. Gigi Good. And she had on a outfit made out of millions of buttons, or thousands. She did a bow in her hair, all orange, very monochromatic. I thought she nailed it. This was a 10 for me as well.
A 10. This was my favorite look of the night.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then up next we had, coming up, Jackie Cox. And she did a very Mary Poppins, Showgirls inspired riverboat girl down in the South. I thought the colors looked nice on her. I didn't really love the execution of everything, though. So I only gave this one a 6.
Very costumey to me. Instead of a gown, I'd give this a 4.
Okay. Up next, we had Venom, or Widow Von Du. She came out in a clown outfit with like the dunce hat look and thing. I loved this. I thought it was really well put together. I thought the colors were a little muted, but I think it worked okay. So I gave it a 7.
Oh, I did not like this at all. I thought it accentuated all the wrong parts of her, and it's not well executed. I gave it a 3.
Okay. Up next, we had Crystal Method, and she's wearing an unfortunate mix of red and pink that just kind of blended together with no shape or form. She really only accomplished having a huge bow in her hair and across her chest. I gave this a 2.
A 2.
Okay. Nikki Doll, who has a huge button kind of fascinator in her wig. It reminded me of Ms. Cracker a little bit. And then a measuring tape as a bra strap, a big bow across her. I thought it looked kind of sloppy. I think that the idea was there, but I gave it a 4.
Agreed, 4.
Okay. Then up next, we had Aiden Zane, who wore kind of a mod-length long sleeve dress with just a few embellishments of buttons and bows around her collar and in her pussycat wig. I thought it was cute, but I feel like it wasn't really pushing any envelope, so I gave it a 3.
I give that a 1. My least favorite look of the night. Very boring.
Very. Up next was Britta Filter in pink, kind of bows holding everything, cinching her waist around her bust line in her hair, and it kind of looks like a troll doll to me. I don't know why. I didn't love this one. I gave it a 4 or a 5. I put a 4 or 5 next to it.
I'd give it a 3.
Okay. And then up next, the redacted, she who won't be named.
Oh yeah. No, we're not even talking. Is this the last one? Is she the last one?
She's our last one.
Oh, okay. Well, then that is the looks. Speaking of, by the way, I know we're not going to talk about it, but I will say, and I wanted to get your thoughts here, Taylor and Jay, on this. I noticed that there was some awkward ADR in announcing her name. And my theory is that they didn't like that. Maybe they thought Rue sounded a little too cheery the first time around. So they needed her to do like a flatter, like, and next cherry pie. But you could tell there was a different.
Notice that.
Oh, I picked up on it.
Let's go back and listen.
Yeah, you can tell it's the later.
I could see it like the Paris, New York. Like she might already have a cute thing where she's like, let me have a slice of that sherry pie.
That's exactly what it was.
So I think they probably have gone in and changed every single. Oh, my voice! I got a timbre in it. I think they went in and talked to her and said we need to redo this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. All right. Well, that's the looks. All right. Here we go. After the runway, Widow, Jada, Jan, Rock, Gigi, Aiden, and Britta are named safe. Heidi in the closet, Sherry Pie, and Jackie Cox are in the top, while Dahlia Sin, Crystal Method, and Nikki Doll are in the bottom. When the girls return to the main stage, Rue tells Crystal she's safe, leaving Dahlia and Nikki to go head-to-head in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song, Problem, by Ariana Grande and Iggy Azalea. In the end, Nikki is told, Shantae, you stay, while Dahlia Sin is asked to sashay away, which she does do without posing and dropping a catchphrase. I have thoughts on this. Jay, Ellis, Taylor, Latte Boy, any final thoughts on the episode?
Taylor, please go ahead.
I didn't really. I think that anybody who might have started to become fans for Dahlia last week, she probably lost that cachet with the way she walked off. And I think that the way that she presented herself in Untucked really didn't help either. But the whole like kind of putting her hands up like she doesn't want anybody clapping for her and then stomping off and then them showing all of that afterwards, which also felt almost like a piece of Untucked in the episode of Drag Race, was just sort of ugly. And I'm sure that will be addressed in some way in the reunion of where she'll say, I realized that I didn't represent myself in the best way, if for no other reason, just kind of like to see face with Rue. But it just not very sportsmanlike for somebody that was going to come off trying to be a very fierce queen. She kind of showed that it was very immature.
She even copped up to that in the episode, saying my biggest regret is not telling the girls how much I appreciate them and love them. So I think she already realizes her mistake and that it was kind of a Fifi level departure where unfortunately the last kind of look that the audience is getting of her is her stomping away and like throwing her hands up. And that's just not the image that you really want to leave people with. Also, I'm shocked with her being from the house of Aja that was the lip sync we got. It was so low energy. I'm surprised we didn't get a double sachet.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Well, it was bad. They didn't know the words. I know every lyric to that song and I don't. And even Dahlia was saying that she performs this song and I'm thinking, well, not very well.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that in the beginning of the episode, that this is possibly one of the worst lip syncs on the show, especially one that didn't have a double sachet away.
I would even heighten that and say it's probably one of the worst episodes overall in a while. I didn't enjoy the challenge, the runway as much as I wanted to. The characters are there, like the people are fun to watch, but the lip sync was just a bad ending to this episode.
Could it just be that there's too many queens? There's a lot of strong queens, so you kind of don't know which way to look first. And everybody was so vying for attention that it just all kind of came out as noise this week.
Yeah, that could be. It was just a loud episode of Mayhem Miller. Yeah. Joe, what did you like the? I mean, I'm kind of bummed I missed the lip sync talk, but was it? What did you think?
I think it was one of the worst lip syncs in the history of the show. I really do.
The energy, it was just no energy.
It was awful. I was saying that includes Drag Race UK. Like, it was like, and then like, yeah, you're right. How did Dahlia not know the lyrics to the song? Nikki Doll are you surprised that Nikki Doll is not high energy? She's not high energy in life.
Yeah.
Well, for someone who's saying, I want to break out of this mold of being the sexy one, that she can't even turn out like a pop song, which I think would be in her wheelhouse. Because sometimes, you know how they mess with the songs and they change them last minute to kind of keep who they want to keep. I've heard they seem two girls who are very keen to do a pop song versus a ballad. And so I was thinking, well, this is going to be a high energy one. And I thought Dolly was going to take it just knowing the House of Aja and, thinking it'd be that.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. This episode was produced by Luke Stamen. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. So, for Taylor the Latte Boy, Jay Ellis, and myself,
sashay away until next week.
thank you for listening to RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Email us at dragracerecap@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Drag Race Recap. If you want access to more Season 12 content, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can follow Taylor the Latte Boy on Twitter and Instagram at PIMCTaylor. Follow Joe Betance on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Betance. That's JoeBetance. The theme song was written by Lucian Piani and arranged and performed by Alex Lefebvre. This episode was produced by Luke Stamen. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.